Good evening, I'm Tom McGrath filling in for the fabulous Mike Deneau. Thank you for joining us this evening. Nevada's Clark County School District is the 5th largest school district in the country and is currently facing one of the worst student-to-teacher ratios in America. Around 35,000 students in the district are not learning from a licensed educator. Valeria Gurr of the American Federation for Children joins me now to talk about the state's education crisis. Valeria, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today with you.
Excited to speak with you about this. So, if students aren't learning from licensed educators, then who are these so-called teachers teaching them? And furthermore, why is Clark County experiencing such a gigantic staffing shortage?
I think this has been happening in this state for a very long time. The teacher shortage is not a new thing for us, but the reality is as you mentioned, our system is so bureaucratic. We have the 5th largest school district in the country, and the students are not being able to get the individualized attention that they need. And families, for example, that speak another language like Spanish need more attention. And unfortunately, like with the teachers' crisis, the students have not been getting the education that they deserve, and they usually need more support. But the reality is that the teachers' union is putting also this agenda, basically talking about the teacher shortages over and over, and they block every single effort when it comes to school choice. So we know that the solution in Nevada is to bring more school choice and accountability to a system that is very large, very bureaucratic, and is not bringing opportunity to low-income students in this state.
And that's interesting that you bring up low-income students. What's the breakdown of some of these teacher shortages? Is it disproportionately in North Las Vegas, let's say?
Yes, it's very disproportional in low-income areas, and we have been seeing the teacher shortages for a very long time. But the reality is that the system is not serving anyone. It's not serving teachers, and it's not serving the students. And we owe it to the teachers and to the students to bring accountability back into the state and insert the school choice. And to respond to your question, I do not have specific numbers, but it is disproportionately impacting lower income students. Perhaps only 16% of Hispanics 4th graders are proficient in reading, and only 10% of African American students are proficient at reading in 4th grade level. We have continued rank at the lowest for the longest time, and the answer has always been more funding. The reality is that the governor allocated record funding for public schools in this state, but the teachers union and Democrats block every single initiative that the governor had this year. So we need to shift, I think, the discussion and start talking about how dysfunctional the system has been for everyone, and how we're going to be bringing a school choice to communities that need it most. Because continue doing the same, and it is not going to work. And I can say this because I worked for the teachers union trying to change the state of education many years ago, and the same discourse is what I listen every single year.
Now, you brought up those test scores. When I lived in Nevada, it was frequently ranked in the bottom 5 states in education. So aside from, let's say, school choice, are there any other contributing factors, or lack of school choice, I suppose, that would be contributing to this poor academic performance?
I think it's the overcrowding. It's, as I mentioned, it's a large classroom settings, and the teachers not being able to tap the way that they want to teach. Teachers, we know that they want to, just like in any other profession, being able to intersect and have a voice in their classrooms, and in many different cases, they have also lost faith. And we see teachers leaving. Like during the pandemic, we saw teachers were leaving to work in charter schools, and the same with the students. They're just tired of the same political realities that we face. Essentially, more money will fix the problem, but the money never gets to them. That's one. They get into the teaching profession because they want to serve the students well. And when they see that they're failing them, they leave entirely. So I do feel for the teachers. I do believe that they deserve a raise, and they deserve better teaching conditions. But I also feel for the students that have to stay under the circumstances, and they deserve to have a school choice. And we can never get it passed because of the politics, and because the same people complaining about the teacher shortages. Now you see the teachers union in this state basically saying, we have a teacher shortage. We need better conditions for our teachers, but they have been part of the problem for the longest time as well.
And you'd mentioned compensation, but what are some other solutions that you would propose to attract educators and boost test scores? And is the state legislature actually tabling any bills to help fix this problem?
I think we have to start listening to the parents, and we have to start listening to other educational systems that has worked. In this particular state, for example, charter schools and private schools are doing a tremendous job in the state. And we are continue doing education the same way that we did it like many different years ago, and that system is not working. I think the teachers have solutions for this, but if they're not able to change, like the curriculum, for example, that might not be serving that particular school, or the ways that they teach. For example, like I'm an English language learner myself, and I know that like testing to, like multiple choice might not be the best way to test how much I know in a specific subject. So there's many different ways that you can actually help change the system. I do believe bringing accountability and bringing a school choice will be definitely the way that we can break the bureaucracy and the monopoly that the teachers union has created in this state. It is too big, and it's not serving teachers or students. And I believe the reason why they're leaving is because it's too overcrowded. They don't have a say-so in their classroom, and they're not able to do the job they sign up to do. I feel for teachers. I hope that they're able to get better working conditions, teacher salaries, and that we're for once able to fix what is happening in this state. But it's not going to happen without bringing a school choice and accountability back into the classroom and into this state.
Well, we've definitely seen parents become an interest group all over the country. And if school boards can change members in the Bay Area, I think that there is hope for Clark County, Nevada. So, Valeria, thank you so much for joining me on One America News.
Thank you so much for having me.